First, before I submit my confession, and since carb signaling is such a big thing right now, I will state my position of what I honestly believe is best right from the start. I am a Chaffe-ite minion, a follower of the great plant slayer, Dr. Anthony Chaffee, glory be to him, the Extra-Ruminated. Our sacred order who worships the Chaffee live by the blessed creed. Plants are trying to kill you. And even though he's but a demigod, we know he is the purveyor of all nutritional truths. He who left Mount Olympus to live here as a mere mortals do, offering his divine wisdom to those with an ear to hear on how to carnivore harder and become the perfect carnivore. Yes, it is he who is without frivolous mirch that will show us the way to carnivore utopia, right here on Earth. But sadly, as a Chaffee-ite, I must be honest. I have fallen short of the Chaffee-ite creed, and I occasionally, very rarely, eat things that are not an animal or an animal product. I know. But today, I want to set the record straight and talk about this important and somewhat heretical topic right here on the Carnivore Science Channel. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I recently watched a live stream with Dr. Kiltz, his associate Alia, Professor Bart Kay, Dr. Nelson, and Coach Becca. I'll put the live stream link in the description section below. I think the purpose of this live stream was really for Dr. Kiltz to elaborate on how he has changed or has not changed his diet. It was a very interesting discussion, so I encourage all of you to go watch it. But towards the end of the live stream, they started talking about how there is a small amount of sugar in meat. As we all know, this is well known. And they all chimed in on how, in reality, none of them are actually perfect carnivores. Shocking, I know. So after seeing this, I had to face up to my own truth. It is with a heavy heart that I have to admit that I've partaken in the forbidden fruit of incidental carbs. Dr. Chaffee, glory be to him, the Extra-Ruminated, would be so disappointed in me. All right. I know. The Dr. Chaffee gag is going off the rails already. There's some people who think I have an unhealthy obsession with him. But seriously, I heard them talking about this and I wanted to start a discussion with you guys on it. Mainly because if you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll already know that the comments section is my favorite part of the YouTube experience. I mean, it's amazing to get all these different viewpoints in one place. Although, I did get a 9-page long grok entry for one of these comments that, as far as those go, I can do without them. But hey, to each his own. But anyway, I will start with my own confessions first. So let's see. The one that I've discussed before, that's like low-hanging fruit, pun intended, is coffee and tea. Now, people largely don't count this because it's something that you drink, not eat, but come on. It's ingested, it has a lot of chemicals, and it's made from plants. So yes, the dirty bean water and the leafy bath water actually count. And I can say to this day, I still consume both. Now, I did a no coffee challenge some time ago, and I got completely off of coffee for a month or so, but not long after I fell off the wagon again. But I did make significant improvements that I drastically drink a lot less than I used to, which is a positive in my book. As I always say, keep going forward, even though it may be, an inch at a time. Anyway, that's not very shocking, but I will say that my coffee habit, along with my tendency to overeat fat in a single sitting at times with no gallbladder. Oh, I forgot to mention, hi, I'm Liz and I'm a butter addict. But this coffee habit, along with the butter addiction, can cause me a significant problem. You know how a lot of people are all worried about leaky gut? Well, with me, it's more like leaky butt. And let me tell you, it is not pleasant. But the good news is that for the most part, I now adhere to my body's marching orders and I don't overstep. But every once in a while, I really screw up. Plus, this type of malfunction is very disruptive to your day to day. I mean, when you start Googling adult pull ups, you know you have officially left the reservation. If you are a gallbladder challenge person, you probably know what I mean already. But anyway, besides the coffee and the tea, I do also eat another thing that's outside of carnivore and in a very small amount, but I will have like maybe 6 or 8 Kalamata olives, which is a very weird thing to eat, but I only do this when I eat rotisserie chicken. Don't judge. We all have our weird rituals, you know. Now, my opinion of chicken is very, very low. I feel that it's like the cardboard of the carnivore space. Not much of a fan at all. But with a sauce, sometimes tzatziki sauce, and that has dill and garlic in it, or just the olives. It's not too bad and it offers something different. I also have to add butter usually, and sometimes I will add maybe a teaspoon of cayenne pepper sauce. But the olive thing works alone too. I was actually shocked that the hot sauce doesn't bother my stomach at all or bring back my indigestion like most other plants do. But I guess the Lord works in mysterious ways. What can I say? Now, I only do this maybe 4 or 6 times in a year, and I treat it like a condiment. Sometimes I even eat Havarti cheese with it too, but again, not much. So that's one of the weird plant items I consume. Again, very small amount, and I only do it with chicken. I recently had that, in fact, which means that I most likely won't eat it for the next 3 to 5 months. As again, I really kind of hate the whole chicken thing. Now, the second violation of the carnivore code I am guilty of involves eggs. I make a recipe that I started making when I was in my 20s, and I absolutely adore it. I call it Lizzy eggs. It is kind of a minimized low-carb variation of huevos rancheros. Now, this I can overeat just because of the flavor alone because it's so damn good. So I have to be careful, and this recipe is mainly carnivore with butter, eggs, cheese, some heavy cream, but it has pepper, cheese, and a very small amount of salsa. And the sauce is added to the eggs directly. It's not on top of it. It's just to flavor the eggs, and it's only about a tablespoon. The cheese is melted into it at the end. Again, I'm not using very much of all of these plant-based ingredients, and they're just being used for flavor, so it's still a low-carb dish, and it is so good. I just could not leave it behind, and I'm glad that I can still tolerate it. Now, I haven't had Lizzy eggs since maybe 6 months ago, but now that I've talked about it, I gotta have it again. It's a good weekend meal, so maybe I'll make that tomorrow. If you can tolerate this kind of thing and you want something new, it's a good meal. But if you think that that would cause you problems, now stay away from it and anything else that would. If you do make it, try to get the cleanest salsa that you can without any additional sugars or chemicals. If I did this regularly, I would have a problem with it from both a food addiction and most likely an inflammation perspective. But I do it rarely and it doesn't bother me at all. Another food that I used to eat sometimes, but I haven't eaten in a really long time is buffalo chicken dip. I don't like the amount of ranch that is in that original recipe, so I make an amended version of it with homemade ranch and a small amount, not the crappy packaged kind. So you end up eating some spices with sour cream kinda, so it's nothing like that stuff off the shelf. And I don't add very much, just enough for flavor. And then I put just enough of the hot sauce in it to give it flavor too, not a whole cup. Now, this is typically something I do once a year at Christmas. I can eat it with pork rinds. It's a good holiday food, but it's not purely carnivore. A fourth thing that's not carnivore that I use are spices and condiments in general, but again, very small amounts and not often. The first of these is onion powder. I add a small amount of this to most of the soups that I make, and also cheeseburger casserole. Ginger and stevia. I use ginger and stevia in Korean beef that I make, and it's really, really yummy. Horseradish. This is really only at Christmas, and I don't always include this, but when I do eat it, I eat it with like prime rib. Also, I mentioned the cheeseburger casserole. Now, that has pickle slices on the top that you cook that way, and it has such a great flavor when you do that. Some of those pickles make it into my mouth somehow. Not many, but a few. Since we're talking about the holidays here, I also, some years but not always, will make homemade eggnog, which is within the carnivore sphere. But I do add stevia, nutmeg, and some cinnamon to that. But again, sparingly. And on the subject of stevia, I am currently drastically reducing the amount of stevia that I use, and I'm trying to phase it out because I don't think sweeteners are something that I want to use in the future. It's just one more vice. That is all I can think of right now off the top of my head. I just felt that it was important to share this and discuss it, especially as we approach the holidays, and there are a lot of carnivore police running around asking for papers and executing forced ketone breathalyzer tests. You know, it just seemed like a good time to talk about everything. I don't know. So what about you? What are your secret carnivore confessions? And what do you do for the holidays? Do you make some exceptions, or do you stay on the straight and narrow like a good Chaffe-ite? Glory be to him, the Extra-Ruminated. I had to do it one more time. I'm sorry. Tell me everything in the comments section below. I can't wait to hear all about it. If you like this video, if you could hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a whole lot. And also be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you actually will hear about any upcoming videos and live streams in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.